Hey everybody, what's up? Darnock here with another StarCraft 2 cast for you today. This is going to be my 6th cast of the day, and something along the lines of my 8th or 9th video, so I'm just a workhorse today. I did not know what has come over me, but I do like it. Gotta make sure I stay hydrated though, or else I just won't be able to talk halfway through this cast. This is going to be a best of 3 series. This is from a recent, not too recent, week or two ago, Steel Series Go for SC2 Cup Tournament. This is either the quarterfinals or the semifinals. I don't actually know. First map's going to be Zelnaga Caverns, and our players are going to be MTW Dimaga as the red Zerg on the lower left. Very, very solid Zerg player indeed. I enjoy watching him play. And then we have the almighty, all-powerful WhiteRa, or WhiteRa as he is actually known as. In the upper right, this guy is an absolute powerhouse. He is incredible to watch. So I am really excited to see how this series goes. Now, as far as numbers go, let me give you some numbers, because numbers are good. We're all nerds here. We like the numbers. Numbers are our forte. So Dimaga right now is in first place as far as the monthly rankings go for Go for SC2 with 140 points. And he is in second place on the European ladder right now, so he's definitely rocking that rather well. WhiteRa, on the other hand, is in 9th place for the Go for SC2 rankings of the month with 75 points, and he is 13th on the EU ladder. So he's a little bit behind in both of those regards, but one thing you have to keep in mind is WhiteRa did win the TL Open number 11, I believe, which means he's going to be getting into the TSL, whereas Dimaga hasn't really had much of a showing in those regards. So the numbers say that WhiteRa is a little bit behind, but as far as results for the TSL goes, WhiteRa looking pretty good. Also, another thing I have to point out is both of these players have actually faced off before in a high-profile match. There was a BlizzCon tournament last year in October. October? Yeah, in October, that these guys faced off at in very high up the ladder. I feel like it, I don't think it was finals, but it was really high up there. And WhiteRa did beat Dimaga in a best of 3, 2-1. So we're just going to have to see how this goes. Now that I have all that stuff off the table, off of my mind, we are going to take a look at the build orders. Dimaga going for gas and pool first, going to be getting that speed very, very quickly. And is he going to be thinking about expanding after this? Most Zerg players do, but there is the occasional one who just says, you know what, I don't want to have to deal with defending that wide open natural expansion without a lot of forces. However, that does not look like what Dimaga is going to do. Yeah, he's going to throw down that fast expansion down there. Meanwhile, over in WhiteRa land, only one gas up, and we're already at 26 supply, so that does point to a very, very gaslight build for our Protoss player. Could it be a Korean-style all-in 4-gate? I do think it could. He might also be going for a very fast expansion. He is going to be getting his second gas, though. Is going to be getting that second gas. So still pretty interested to see what WhiteRa does, though. Going for a second gateway. WhiteRa doing a very interesting build here, actually. I'm excited to see how it turns out. Not a super standard or common build like that, so we're going to have to see. Now, one thing you may have already noticed, and I'm kind of excited about, this is a double-edged sword, is you'll see that there aren't any black bars on the side of your videos, I don't think. Yay, it's all native and awesome. The quality should be a lot better, and that's fine. I'm wholeheartedly excited for the quality. But the unfortunate thing is to get this right aspect ratio. I use a weird monitor, so the aspect ratio looks really weird on my screen right now. So if I'm flailing around a little bit, that's going to be why. It's going to be because I'm adjusting to the new aspect ratio. Hopefully soon I will have a new monitor entirely, and I can run it at what I want to record, and it'll be native, and it'll be awesome, but maybe not. Warp Gate research is going to finish for WhiteRa here pretty soon. It looks like he's going to be going for a 3-gate expand. And yep, pylon going down on the low ground. For those of you who aren't as familiar with Protoss and StarCraft, that is really the first tell that a Protoss player is expanding, is he will drop the pylon on the low ground, so he'll be able to start warping in reinforcements in a more beneficial area. Now, WhiteRa is actually letting his minerals get really, really high right now, not expanding quite yet. Saving up for a forge, and then immediately after that, probably going to get a Nexus, just going to take down that Zergling. And you going to build your Nexus, WhiteRa? Come on now, man. Gotta get that Nexus up. Nope, just going to dance around with your probe. Come on, WhiteRa. I know you can do it. There we go. Getting his Nexus up. There are actually quite a few speedlings on the map right now, though, so if Dimaga is able to poke forward while WhiteRa is out of position, he could possibly force a cancel on this Nexus. Doesn't look like WhiteRa is going to be getting in any bad positions, though, so that is all good. At the same time, what's going on with Dimaga? He does have a Roach Warren up. Roach is pretty good in general. They have some trouble when fighting Stalkers off of creep because Stalkers actually move really, really quickly, especially if the Roaches do not have speed yet, which they do not. Now, I don't think there are actually any Roaches on the field quite yet, so that is going to be a non-issue, and yes, that's correct, just some Zerglings trolling around, not doing a whole lot. Dimaga does have the map control right now. He has both of those Zelnaga watchtowers. WhiteRa not really going to be completely sure what's coming at him, which is why he is playing so defensively with that cannon, with that forge. Going to be getting a pretty quick +1 upgrade. Very, very nice. Could we see a 6-gate +1 attack? I do think we could. That is a very, very strong push that Protoss can do. Basically what you do is, this is a great way to open up with it too. Now watch, he's just going to do something completely differently and make me look like a fool. But this is a great way to open it up with it. You get your 3 gateways, get your forge and your nexus on the low ground, build 3 more gateways, and then you just push forward with 4 warp gates along with your +1 weapons upgrades, and it's incredibly good. Very, very strong push. Will we see that from Duckload WhiteRa? Maybe, maybe not. We'll just have to see. One Zergling getting some decent scouting information. He says, okay, there are no refineries taken, or no gases taken, excuse me, no assimilators on those. Checking to see how saturated this mineral line is. And WhiteRa actually going to be going for a robotics facility as soon as that Zergling is dealt with. At the same time, he is going to be pushing out, and while he is pushing out, Dimaga is going to be working away at these rocks. These rocks are going to be going down finally to these Zerglings. And all these Zerglings better get out of there. Dimaga, you gotta save your Zerglings, man. Yeah, there you go. Dimaga realizes he has to get away. Looks like he might be able to get a nice flank off with these Roaches, though, if he's able to bait WhiteRa forward. And, oh, this could be sexy. Roaches coming in from both sides. Zergling's not really doing a whole lot. Interesting force fields, not doing a whole lot. There we go. That last one really, really made it. There are a lot of Roaches that are in range of WhiteRa right now. However, those Zealots are going to be able to tank some of the damage. More Zealots coming in. WhiteRa's going to have to fall back, as that was a lot of Roaches. Dimaga was actually able to burrow a lot of his weakened Roaches. They're going to start regenerating the health. That was a great play by Dimaga, and Dimaga looking pretty good right now. Looking pretty good. His minerals are starting to get a little bit high. Would not be surprised if he took his gold here pretty soon, and there is actually a drone just going along with the Roaches, apparently. Apparently the drone wants to be a Roach when it grows up. Sorry, drone, that's not how it works. All you can do is be a building. And there we go. Now he's going to be a hatchery, so fantastic. Dimaga looking pretty strong right now, I do have to say. However, keep in mind that robotics facility is up. The first Immortal is about to pop out with a second one on the way. Immortals, of course, rip through Roaches very, 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 very quickly. At the same time, there is a Twilight Council on the way. What are we going to see coming out from that? Lots of different options right now, most of them equally viable. We could see a... I'm desperately trying to find this Twilight Council. There we go. I found it eventually. Awesome. But lots of things we could see. We could see some Blink Stalkers. We could see Tech to High Templar, which do relatively well against Roaches. We could see a Dark Shrine. And what is it going to be? Gotta wait a little bit because WhiteRa actually has no gas right now. He has very, very little gas. So we're going to have to come back there later and see what is going on. At the same time, what is Dimaga doing for tech? Well, he is about to research his Overlord speed, so he's going to be able to do a little bit better scouting like that. And he just has a nice Overlord group hanging out by that spawning pool. They are playing in the spawning pool. And he also just got an evolution chamber, and he actually didn't just get it. You see, he actually has been researching the missile attacks level 1, and he has his Hydralisk den out, getting the grooved spines. That's a relatively new addition. Very, very standard build against his opponent right now. Very standard indeed. He is going to be getting a Spire, though, which is an interesting choice. As far as I know, WhiteRa does not have a robotics bay. Does Dimaga even know about the robotics facility? No, so that Spire, interesting choice. Either Dimaga's going to try and mix in some of the Mutalisks there, try and get some harassment going on. That is one possibility. Or the other possibility is he is just assuming that WhiteRa is going to be teching. Ooh, nice contamination on that forge. But he could just be assuming that WhiteRa is going to be teching to the Colossi, which is a very standard move in this matchup. And he could just be getting ready to build some Corruptors like that. We will have to see. I would like to see a few more Hydralisks here and a few less Roaches against this army composition, as Hydralisks will, of course, destroy Immortals. Roaches will have a lot of trouble with that, though. 3 Immortals in this unit mixer, that's starting to get a lot. There's actually a 4th one going to pop out soon, though, so WhiteRa going to start getting a scary amount of Immortals. On the other hand, though, Dimaga is only producing Zerglings and Hydralisks right now, so those Roaches are going to be fine. Fine, fine, fine. Lots of Hydralisks coming out over here. Looking good. Uh-oh. Bad time to take a sip of water, apparently. Oh, great force fields trapping so many Roaches over there. WhiteRa actually doing so much with those force fields. However, some Hydralisks are getting through and are actually starting to deal quite a bit of damage, almost killing one Immortal, but keep in mind all 4 Immortals are still up right now. Dimaga's roaches are spazzing out with fear. They're like, oh my god, that was so many Immortals. We're going to hang out by the mineral line, guys. Hydralisks, go kill his Immortals for us, please. WhiteRa's also going to be taking his gold now. So Dimaga's going to have to be careful. He's either going to have to try and cancel that, force a cancel, try to delay it, or just try to take a 4th base to make sure he does have the economic advantage. Robotics Bay just came out for our Protoss player. There it is, hanging out by the assimilator. Extended Thermal Lances just started getting researched, and we do have the first Colossus on the way. WhiteRa still has all 4 of his Immortals. Immortal Stalker, pretty strong combination. It's going to be nice when he gets some Colossi in there. And look at that, huge Zergling spawn just happened for Dimaga. 20 Zerglings just all popped out of those eggs simultaneously. So Dimaga going to be going for a little bit of a push here, it appears. He is just starting his +2 weapons upgrade right now. And here we go, he's going in. That's a lot of Photon Cannons. Photon Cannons, very powerful in this game. You see Roaches coming in from the right, Hydralisks coming in from the left. Those Hydralisks are going to want to try and focus down the Immortals. That's not happening, though. It looks like they're just on attack, actually. Doesn't seem to be getting microed too terribly much. And the Colossus is going to get over here just in time to start roasting some Hydralisks. You see those Hydralisks are dying so fast. The Colossus, though, gets focused down very quickly. A couple of Immortals are going to be able to clean up all the Roaches over here. Immortal with 13 kills, that's amazing. But this many Hydralisks is actually relatively scary. It does look like Dimaga is going to be forced back, but he is streaming in more and more reinforcements. The probes are actually going to get pulled off the line to kill the Hydralisks. The Hydralisks do actually go down fairly quickly to the probes, as Hydralisks have very little health. More Hydralisks coming in from the right, and Dimaga with a very strong push over here, doing quite a bit of damage. You might want to let up here pretty quickly, as there is a second Colossi on the way. And are the Zerglings going to surround that Colossi? They're going to try to. Of course, the Colossi can just move around them. It's not a big deal. Actually, yeah, there we go. Colossi going over to the low ground. And it looks like Dimaga is going to be pushed back for the time being. And it's actually, no, both players are doing very well as far as supply goes. They're very equal. If we take a look at the economy, they're also pretty equal. WhiteRa with actually 3 more probes than Dimaga does have drones. But this is still a very close game indeed. It's all going to come down to the decision making right now. We're 15 or so minutes into this game, and both players still looking very even. Dimaga starting to get those Corruptors out there to help combat those Colossi. He's also going to start probably wanting to go a little bit heavier Roach than he was earlier, as there are going to be no more Immortals on the field, and Hydralisks just die so quickly to Colossi. It's ridiculous. Hydralisks do a lot of damage. They have really nice DPS, don't get me wrong, but they will just evaporate to those Colossi. It is actually insane. Now, nice contamination again by Dimaga, going to get that robotics facility. Unfortunately, the Overseer's blood is now hanging out by these 2 pylons, so that is too bad, but it gave its life for a good cause. Delaying those units is actually super helpful. Now, WhiteRa is going to be pushing forward. Dimaga doesn't have a whole lot to be able to defend this. The WhiteRa realizes that Dimaga's defender's advantage is enough to help hold him off. Dimaga going to be taking a 4th base a little bit later than I think would actually be best, but he is getting it up at the very least, so that is something. 149 supply for Dimaga compared to 125 supply for WhiteRa, so Dimaga is starting to outproduce WhiteRa, getting a lot of Zerglings mixed over with these units along with the Roaches. Keep in mind though, Colossi very strong against Zerglings. Zerglings will just disappear like they were never even there. It's like Balefire from the Wheel of Time. If any of you get that reference, you're actually amazing, and I would like to give you a big hug in real life. Now, Dimaga is making sure to keep some Hydralisks with this unit composition, which I think is a good idea, because he's going to want to have the Hydralisks just stay as far away as they can and just try and take those Zealots down really quickly so they stop dealing with Roaches, and especially trying to start focusing down those Stalkers. Hydralisk is pretty strong against Stalkers. However, WhiteRa does have 3 Colossi right now, a few more, and he's going to start to be scary. However, he is going to mix an Immortal into that unit composition, which is an interesting choice. I do like it, though. At the same time, he is getting his +3 ground weapons, so he is definitely going to be starting to win the upgrade war, as our Zerg player Dimaga only has +2 attack for his Roaches and his Hydras. Big Roach spawn coming out right now, and it looks like we could see a pretty big battle. Nope, just kidding. WhiteRa just wanting to deny that Xel'Naga Tower wasn't actually pushing forward or anything quite like that. Dimaga going to be taking a 5th base over on the right of the map here. I like that. Dimaga maxed out right now. WhiteRa about 30 supply under it. However, keep in mind WhiteRa does have superior upgrades, and he actually has a 2nd robotics facility now. And here it comes. Dimaga going to be pushing forward. Those Corruptors are going to try to focus down the Colossi. 2 Colossi down already. The third's going to go down pretty quickly here. However, the Hydralisks and Roaches are dying very, very quickly. There's just so many Stalkers. It's looking like WhiteRa should be able to push through here. He needs to get this Immortal out from behind the Stalker line, and then he will have assured victory. But you know what? It doesn't matter. He's going to be able to easily beat Dimaga back. Dimaga does have 10 supply on WhiteRa right now, but keep in mind, all that is in 28 Zerglings and 12 Hydralisks that are on the way. WhiteRa capitalizing on his current lead right now, going to push forward. If he's able to take down the Skull base, it's actually going to be huge. Zerglings are going to be streaming in and die immediately to all that Stalker fire. And there we go. GG. Dimaga saying too much DPS for toss. He is not pleased with that loss at all. But you know what? It's okay. It's okay. He still has the better numbers on WhiteRa as far as the monthly rankings go and the ladder goes, so he still definitely could pull this back. We're going to have to see, though. Best of 3. WhiteRa just needs one more game to emerge victorious. Will he get it, or will Dimaga rise up to the challenge? We'll have to see next time, guys. Catch you then.